So I have in here information about what this subprocedure does. Right? It demonstrates the use of several properties and subproperties of the range object to modify the interior color of a range of cells. Right? And then I have all of these comments about specific lines of code that I'm applying. So we're going to get into the practice of always telling it what sheet you need to be on. You can run a macro from any sheet, but we want to make sure that what we're writing here only gets done to sheet 1. So to activate sheet 1, we're going to use this line that says worksheets, and then we tell it the name of the sheet that we want to reference. We have to spell it correctly. So it's going to be sheet1.activate. You may have noticed as you were typing, it came up there with some hints in there. And it actually said inside of parentheses, the argument that it was expecting was an index. So instead of referring to it by name, you could refer to it by its index. And so for me, I can look at my Project Explorer and see that the name here is sheet 1. The index of my sheet is just going to be the number that it's got after this. This name here. It says sheet 1 in sheet 1. So if I had, instead of saying sheet 1, I had just put the number 1 in there, that would be referencing the same sheet. So I'll write in here and also use index. Okay. So now I'm going to start writing the code that is going to be using these different properties that we talked about. So our range object means that we have to refer to our range and tell it what the range is that we're interested in. So I said in the slide that I want to change the range from A1 to F12 so that the color is blue. So that means that I'm going to refer to this range by that name of the A1 to F12. So the way that we do this is to put it in quotes, and we'll say A1 colon F12. Once I refer to that range, then I do a dot, so a period, and then I'll put the property that I want to use after. You can see that if I reference things correctly, I'll start having different commands that are available to me. So I'll start typing this in. The name of this property was interior, right? So it starts jumping down to what's available to me. So interior is available here. If it is highlighting the one that I want to use, I can hit tab and it'll select it for me. Or I can continue typing and that would be fine. So I've said that I want to use the interior property on the range object, and now I'm going to go to dot, and then I'll use the subproperty color index. Right, so I did color index like that. And now we need to set this equal to the value of the color index that we want. So that means I'm going to say equals, and then the color index for blue is 5. So I'll say equals 5. When I go down to the next line, you'll notice that it automatically puts spaces in here between what I typed with my properties and equal sign. Something else that it does, if I had typed in here without selecting it using tab, if I had done color index all in lowercase, and then I go down to the next line, it'll automatically capitalize it for me the way that it has it capitalized. So one thing that I do generally when I'm working in VBA, I'll use the tab to select something, but if I'm typing, I always type in lowercase. And then when I go off of the line, if it doesn't automatically capitalize something for me, I know that I might have done something wrong. So that is something that I find helpful in VBA. All right, so that's going to color it blue. So then the next few lines are going to do the same thing using the other subproperties. Instead of, I think, doing them blue, I'm going to choose some different colors. So what I'll do now is I'll copy what I typed up there. I'll say range A1 colon F12 dot interior dot color equals, I'm going to do a different color just so that I can watch it. I'll do medium red. I'll hit enter and then we'll see that it puts the spaces in and capitalizes stuff the way that it wants. So then we're going to use the RGB property. So I will do the same thing. Range A1 colon F12 dot interior dot color equals RGB. I'm going to do 0, 255, 0. So that's going to do no red and no blue, but all green. So we'll see that kind of different color. All right, and then I will do my last one, which uses the pattern subproperty. So we'll do range A1 colon F12 dot interior dot pattern equals, I can do this either as an index number or as an Excel constant. So I'll do 16. You'll notice in my comments that I said the value of 16 is the same as the Excel constant, the Excel pattern crisscross. So we'll see that as it goes. I've also got a line of code in there that is updating the pattern color, right? So now before I run this, what I'm going to say that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run this using my debugger tool of stepping into the lines of code. So I'm going to watch it go line by line through this. And I'll hit F8 to go step into it. You'll see it highlights a line. When I hit F8 again, it'll go to the next line. So it doesn't execute that line of code until you hit F8, and when it's highlighted, will then be executed next. So it's activating sheet 1. Now it's going to change the interior color to be the color index 5. Now it's going to change it to be the VB constant red. Then it's going to do RGB green. And now it will change the pattern to be this crisscross pattern. And now it'll change the color of the pattern to be white. Okay. Yeah.
How do you use the debugger?
Okay, so sorry, I went over that too fast. Thank you. The debugger, you can reference it here, but I reference it using F8. F8 is the key that will do it, so I don't have to click every